knows I feel my anxiety. You are the reason why I can't say no. I can't believe you won't let me go. You know how I feel when I'm all alone. When I'm alone. When I'm alone. When I'm alone. Don't need to tell you how I feel. You let me breathe, you let me heal.
All right, guys, what is going on? What is good? What is good? Welcome to Take Profit Tuesday, or Tuesday, I guess, but either way, what's good? What's good? Is the chat member only? Yeah, we'll keep it member only. We'll keep it member only today. How about that? What's good? Naruto, Mason, Scott, Sean, Felix, Big James, Jim Bob. Welcome back. It's been a minute. Ibrahim, Jorks, Willow, Monkey, Flacco, Marshall, Marvelous, Shay, Torty, Amanda. Who else is here? Who else is here? So, the one second. Okay, never mind. Never mind. The movement on indices today, I think that's where all the action is at. And gold was a little bit of a drag. It's a little bit of a drag, and I'm over it. Was good, Pop, Cameron. So yeah, I mean, I like the formation. Excuse me. I like the formation up here. Right? Something like that as a original consolidation. I like it. We had traded lower below the low of June 2nd, which is pretty much yesterday. And then we had jolts at 9, right? So job jolts at 9. That took us lower one more time, right? So we had some short-term lows here. That got wrecked. And I was watching this right in here, and something told me, I was like, this is a long right here. I was like, that's 9:15. That's a new 15-minute candle. That's the long right there. And then I didn't. I didn't long. And then I ended up going long a little bit later. I broke even. So, but that's why I made some more commentary. At least on the way lower at 850. So that was prior to job jolts. I was saying, hey, and I was responding to Cameron with this message here. You guys can see that, right? Right here. I saw that too. Looking for reversals here, possibly. All right, so that's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for a signature of a reversal. And Jolts basically gave it to us. So 5-minute time frame, we have an inversion here, mitigation here, and when I was saying at 1034 gold new high, that would be a partial. That was pretty much right here. That was pretty much right there. Okay. And that was kind of indicating if you were long from in here or from the inversion or from anything down here, that's a good partial. And you can see why, right? Why do you think? Why do you think that would be a good partial here at 10:30? 10:34 is when I had that was timed because I was waiting for the new high, and as soon as we got it, message sent. Right? I was no longer in it, but I was trying to walk you through as if I was still in it. So why would that be a new partial? Or why would a new high be a partial? Chat. Why would it be? Naruto says partial at a new high. If the market goes lower, you'd still be green. Okay. Why else? Lock in the cheddar, says Scott. Okay. Why else, chat? What else is on your screen? High, low, higher high, right? Then that run lower. So this would be an opposing concept too. It's right there on your screen, chat. Come on, look at the fucking... Look at the screen. I'm not still playing the starting soon screen, am I? Y'all can see my chart? The orange box is right there. Staring at you. Come on. You guys are better than that. New high and opposing concept. There's also, based on the gold futures, there's also a lack of wick right there, which we really did not get until later, right at 11:10, right here. That ideally would have been better, but look how sideways this has been. I don't like that. So it's fine to consolidate at the first stage of accumulation, but then we got to run higher. And if we don't get that, then it may not be a buy model. So 949, silver making a new high, which is, I believe, above these highs here, while gold is pulling back. So it was interesting to watch, right? How gold here was trading lower. Okay, that was like 945 roughly. Yeah, right here. You see what I mean? Silver was higher here. And at that same time, gold was trading a little bit lower and not even close to its high. So clearly, gold was the laggard. It is what it is. Okay? But do you guys get that, though? Are you picking up what I'm putting down here? Drop some twos in the chat. Looking for a reversal. News basically drove us lower one more time. So that's the soup, basically, if you guys didn't catch that. I didn't say that earlier, but to me, that's what it is, right? We have some lows here prior to news. Okay. Well, the lower one's technically right there. Short-term lows, we rallied off of that. So then we get a lower low below an old low. Because remember, this is still June 2nd. So that, to me, is a soup, right? Good old turtle soup. And then right there, or right here, that's the low risk short. I mean, the low risk buy. Sorry, you don't want to short that. That is the low risk buy. Right? Why would I say that? 9:15 to 9:30 is here. See that? That is just timing. That's a time-based entry. Remember, 9:14, once that closes, Then we get 9:15. So the open of 9:15, that is a new 15-minute candle. See that? So that, if we have to hide everything because it gets a little cluttered, if you will. That's right here. You see that? That blue line at the open of 9:15, that's right there. Is that not some cool shit or what? Is that not cool, chat? That is what I was trying to enter on, and I hesitated. Don't ask me why, chat. I'm not always perfect. To be fair, I think it was because of the 1 minute time frame. I think I put too much emphasis on the 1 minute, meaning like I was looking for something over here that I just didn't really trust. And what I did instead is exactly what I told you the other day, multiple times already, is when you get that low, high, lower, low, right, that automatically becomes the mitigation. Well, the 5 minute is this one. On the 1 minute, it's what? On the one, sorry. On the 1 minute, it would be that right here. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to point out. So I forgoed the entry down here. So I fucked up on that and I let it go. So zooming out to the 5 minute, and this is kind of where I kept it after that. Inversion right there. Okay, the last 5 minute, not the last 1 minute, but the last imbalance on the 5 minute time frame is here. That got traded through at 9:20 and then 9:25. Dipped into it right there. Can you guys see that? Drop some threes in the chat if you guys can see that. That's not bad. The earlier in a price move, again, this is just my opinion, and this is how it works for me. The earlier you get in, like the turtle soup, the low risk buy, possibly first leg, but usually the turtle soup or the low risk buy is going to be very, very close to the lows. It's harder to get stopped out break even than it is when you trade like a mitigation or something a little bit later. And you can kind of see why that's the case today for gold, right? I mean, we traded into it here, spent a lot of time there, made a new high, traded right back into the range. That's, you know, potentially traders getting knocked out break even. We make a new high again. If you didn't partial, it comes back into the mitigation again. And you're like, oh my God. You're like, this is crazy. But even this move here, and based on where we're at right now, if you're in from down here, that move wouldn't take you out if you're break even. Now, if your stop is at that low, yeah, you probably got bumped. But, you know, what can you expect, right? So overall, I don't think it's that bad. I'm not going to engage with it today. I'm kind of over it. You know, I took my trade already, you know, got a break even, and I'm like over it now. So I will not be touching this, but you can at least see the logic, right? Or no? June 2nd low. Okay. Jolts took us lower. And then that 9:15 is basically a 15-minute NCE. A 15-minute time frame next candle entry, if that makes sense. Then we rallied off of that. And then what I was watching was this right here. I didn't have it marked up, but I was watching it. Which is that. Okay. And again, I know it's getting kind of cluttered on here. Let me just take everything off and clean that up. What I'm saying is I started watching this as well. So we had this gap right here. I'm watching that to see if we support price, or to see if that supports price. We traded into that again. So, but like I said, I'm over it. I'm over it. I don't want anything to do with gold today. So, but that's really about it. Okay. Taking partials at new highs and at opposing concepts. I don't really talk about that a lot, but that is a thing. Okay. That is a thing. Even though it's the formation, I don't trust that to hold. Okay. I do not trust that to be bearish. It can be, sure. But given that I've already explained, again, we took out yesterday's low. This looks like a buy model to me. So I wouldn't want to short gold. So if I'm anticipating higher pricing, then I expect, let's say, concepts that would otherwise be bearish, I expect them to fail. Okay? Like how my teachers expected me to fail at life. You understand? But that is not the case. You understand? So that by itself is a mitigation. Yes. But if I'm bullish, then I would expect for that to get traded through. Maybe even become an inversion to go long. Okay? So with that, I guess we'll see this evening, you know, whether or not we go up here. The only other thing I had is indices this morning, okay, were a little bit difficult. All right. There was quite a bit of a disparity between the three. You know how sometimes when one goes higher, like NQ goes higher and Dow goes lower? We basically had that multiple times today. So let me give you an example. I wanted to short Dow up here and I did not. So I kind of missed that. I missed that as well. You know what I mean? But the reason I wanted to do that is for the same reason I pointed out the regular trading hour lows in the PM session yesterday for Nasdaq. Okay. I know that's a hell of a sentence, but I thought, okay, if we're going to trade higher, because I'm still bullish on the higher time frame, that hasn't changed. If we are going to trade higher, we may go lower first. And if we do go lower, where would we be likely to go? And that's why I pointed out those lows on Nasdaq. Now those did not get met. Dow, however, look at it. Right? Look at that. We have all kinds of higher lows. Higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. And then equity's open. Takes us higher first. So 42,005 or 415, basically 420, right? 420 level, can't escape it. There's Monday's high, right? Yesterday's high right there. Took it a little bit, right? Not by a lot. And then we created this imbalance here on the way to these lows, meaning like it's an imbalance on the way to liquidity, right? So I looked at that and I went, that's a short. That's a good short, right? Stop at this high, aiming for this low, and probably, you know, other lows. I didn't expect 240 all the way down here, but there's probably some on a higher time frame that might be down there, but I don't know. But either way, a lot of these are close together, and that obviously did get ran, but again, I missed it. So that was an opportunity here. This imbalance gets respected. We trade lower, and in the market, by this time I wasn't even watching Dow anymore because I gave up on it. But there was another opportunity right there. So I feel like that's a pretty decent lesson right here. Is how do I say this without fucking this up? If you, I guess, get a response, right, from a concept that you're looking at, and then it forms another one right off of it, it's that second one is your later opportunity. Does that make sense, chat? So before you throw some fours in the chat, this is exactly what I mean. If you get, because we don't have any inversions here, right? There's no inversions on the way up, or at least up here. It's not, right? At least on the 1 minute. But you have an imbalance here. The market does respect it, and then creates another imbalance coming off of this. We'll say that this is the first one, right? And we get a second one right here. And that is, I really despise the word confirmation, but if I had to use it, this later one is basically like a confirmation entry, if that makes sense. Because you basically waited to see, is price going to be responsive here? Is this concept going to hold, yes or no? And it does. And there's another concept right after that. Or if you wanted to, you can include, honestly, I'd say these three candles together, right? So this imbalance within these up candles right here, that's an 80 level right there as well. So that to me was a later opportunity. And then of course you would have had to sit through jobs, which I don't know. If that new low is a partial, then yeah, I could see holding through that. But ultimately, it does spike a little bit, sure. A couple minutes, it like fucked around. And then a few minutes later, which is still inside that macro, by the way, it did run the lows. Because 9:10 is the end of that macro, right? 8:50 to 9:10. It's right there. See that? Right there at the tail end of the macro, running all that. See that? Beautiful. Then, okay, and this is the crazy part about today. By this particular time here, I was still looking at NQ, still looking at those lows, and I'm like, you know what? I wonder if those lows are going to get met or not. But there was really nothing over on NQ in here, right? In here that was signifying it was going to go lower. And let's say take out these lows over here. There was nothing in this price run that signified we'd be bearish. So I was like, you know what? I'll just let this go. Right? And then, of course, inevitably, what happens? What happens when you decide not to trade? What happens when you walk away? You know what happens, chat. The fucking best entries occur right when you decide to leave, right? That low here, sweeping all those lows from London and pre-market, London, whatever. Then we get the inversion model. And that is our current, I guess, lowest concept of the day. Besides the actual manipulation, that inversion is our low of the day. So, what a day, huh? Missing the good trades and then taking a break even over on gold, right? It's like, it's good because it's like, all right, well, at least I didn't lose money, right? But a lot of mental capital spent, you know? But drop some fours in the chat. Let's come back for a minute. Drop some fours in the chat if you guys understand what I'm saying with these two concepts. it's kind of like with gold as well. Okay. And we're probably going to trade higher now that I told you, right? Like, oh, I'm over gold. I'm done with it. Yeah. Now it'll fly, right? But this is the same idea right here. Okay. This imbalance right here is the same exact thing of what I'm referring to. The 15-minute, right, open trades lower and then rallies off of that. That right there, to me, once we rallied, that was the low risk short, or excuse me, the low risk buy. I'm not fully awake yet, even though it's like I've been up for like 5 hours, 6 hours. That's the low risk buy. We respond, and then price throws an imbalance in there, right? On the way up, on the way to these highs, and on the way potentially to up here. Does that make sense? See, chat? I told you we'd start flying. What? Once I'm out of it, price is like, all right, John Phibbs is done. Now we run. So, but my point is you can wait for a response, play the next concept. Okay. I don't know what we would even call that. Not that we need to, have any names specifically for it, but it's like, here's another example. The 5-minute inversion. Maybe you saw that and you're like, okay, price responded off the inversion model, but I'm not in it. What's the next available concept? Well, that imbalance right here blows, because I mean that's like, that sucks. Okay, how's that for description? That up candle, though, like I said earlier, is the mitigation. So basically what you would have done is say, okay, the inversion was respected, but I didn't get in. Okay, now I can play the mitigation then. Does that make sense, chat? I guess we could call it a confirmation. For me, I don't like that word just because most people, the way most people use it just really irks the fuck out of me. But I don't know. It's kind of like testing the waters, if you will. You're like, okay, I'm bullish, but I don't want to long just yet because I don't know if the low's been set. So we wait for the low to be set, wait for a concept to respect, and then go, okay, price has now respected at least one bullish concept and one inversion. Okay, now I can take a little bit of a later opportunity. And again, you see that, I'll come back to this one more time just to make sure that you guys get this. And this also should really, really decrease FOMO as well. Because some of you miss a high and you won't get in later and still miss the whole move. And this is why I'm trying to cure that for you. Okay? You can miss the initial concept and you can just play the one right after that. Especially if it's time-based. Because 844 is here, so 845 is here. We got our wick higher right there. Then we went lower. And then 850 is right there. So you could have traded this imbalance at 850 because that's the MOP. MOP, macro opening price. Right? So imbalance at 850, and again 850 to 910 is the macro. I really probably should have saved this for the market review, huh? I probably should have done that, huh? I don't care. See that? Second concept, or even like the third. It depends on how you count, but initial imbalance and then the second one. inside the macro. Done. You see that? Look how beautiful that is, bro. Look how beautiful. Bro, mop up these fucking prop firms. You know what I mean? With trading the... Listen, if we blocked out everything else, okay? 40%. Remember that. Okay? If we blocked out everything else, you see that? And simply only looked at 850 to 910. Is that not beautiful delivery? Because we already have the concepts outlined up here, right? And, well, we didn't really, I guess, mark a specific low. But I guess if we wanted to use these two, we'll mark that. Fine. Right there. Okay? And so that's all you can see is just though I added 1 minute on the end and subtracted a minute on the other end so we could actually see the initial candles. But is that not beautiful price delivery? From the imbalance down to liquidity. Drop some fives if that to you is clean. Yeah, the job jolt spike is a little bit bullshit, but that's 20 minutes. Okay, that's only a 20-minute time window. It respects the imbalance and runs liquidity. That's nasty, chat. That's nasty. You know what I mean? What Lil Wayne say? All my bitches nasty like a cold dinner. Bro, that's cold dinner right here. This is some cold chicken. Cold turkey. Cold steak. You know what I mean? Where would you put your stop loss at the mitigation? So if the mitigation is part of the first stage accumulation, it either goes to the low end of an imbalance or the low of the low risk buy. I'll show you. I'll show you what I mean, because some of you that might go right over your head. Like, what the fuck? I'll show you. Love the light bulb moments. Oh, yeah, bro. Oh, yeah. It's bright as fuck over here, isn't it? Okay. And that's it right there. So beautiful short opportunities. And then we get our reversal for higher pricing, which is cool because we're flying, bro. We're absolutely flying. Look at that. Look at that. Stocks account is chef's kiss today. Look at that. SPY is up like a little bit. Right? SPY is kind of it ain't the leader, but look at that. That's enough. Triple Qs. Oh my goodness. Magnificent. We are not far off from all-time highs. We're all of like 2%. Less than 3% away from all-time highs. What's good, Brian? And then don't let me forget Jorks. I'll come back to that mitigation in a minute, but I felt like that was a good transition over into stock, so I'm going to sit here for a minute. VST, baby. VST. We are finally there. It took a few months. But look at that. We are finally there. 176.19 was the target, and our current high of day is 178.35. Look at that. What a monster. What an absolute monster. I didn't pick the low very well. You know, I'll admit that. Yeah, I thought we were going to go here. We ended up going further than I would have liked. But look at that monthly. Look at that monthly chart. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? April, blessed. May, blessed. June, it's like the 3rd. It's only the 3rd, but it's up. You know what I mean? Look at that. So for those that don't like day trading, you don't like 1 minute charts or 5 minute, 15. I think someone asked yesterday about jobs. I think I didn't even answer that because I forgot about it. But what you have to realize, bro, everything here is fractal. So what happens on small time frames happens on medium time frames, happens on large time frames. The 1 minute and the daily, almost the same. Now there's some obviously intraday timing tools that are a little bit different from the daily and weekly. But overall, this would have worked the same way as a 1 minute chart. You know what I mean? Now, I haven't deleted any drawings, even that blue line that we drew back in February. I have not deleted that. I'm going to delete it now. I'm going to take a screenshot, of course. Okay. But just to show you my point, I'm going to delete everything now. But again, to prove my point even further, what's the difference between, let's say, what we just looked at on gold on a 1 minute and 5 minute time frame versus Vistra Corp? Again, I don't know who their CEO is, the CFO. I don't know any employees. I don't even know what they do. Vistra, it sounds like a fucking Visa debit card, honestly. I don't know what they do. And they might be some AI shit for all I know. Okay? It does not matter though. It doesn't matter. Right? When people want to do research and all this shit, bro, stop run, gap, inverted in April, on April 10th and 11th, and then again on April 21st. Boom, higher. Look at that. From that inversion, well, it's a inverted gap basically, but okay, 4% drawdown, 64% higher. 64% higher, okay? In 60 days. Oh, actually, it's less than that because I drew it a couple of days beyond. But no job is giving that sort of increase. No bank account's giving that increase. Hell, some of y'all's credit cards is fucking almost that much. You know what I mean? That's disgusting. And you can hold positions for weeks or even months while you're somewhere else day trading. Does that make sense? I'm not saying it's easy to do, because it's not. And especially if you look at it every day. But what you need is higher time frame concepts, right? And what we just talked about. Let's say, I guess confirmation entry is probably the best name for it, even though I can't stand it. I hate it. I really do. But monthly imbalance, right? Price responds and then gives the inversion. All right. We gapped here. We gapped again. And then what is this right here? Well, technically that's not an up candle, but yeah, that's a flat candle, but it's basically a mitigation. Okay. And even if you did not see that, it's that gap here as well. So we've already shown we left a little bit of the low end of the monthly imbalance open. We respected the gap. Okay, which is right there. Gapped higher, and it trades into that right here. Mind you, yes, that is a late entry, but it's the same idea. Waiting for price to respect certain things and then getting in on the next available concept. Do you guys see that being useful? It's a very simple idea. I don't really talk about it a lot, but it is a thing. It is a thing. And why would we want to utilize stuff like that? Because again, if you miss certain things, if you were anticipating higher pricing, you saw this inversion here, and you were kind of skeptical, like, well, fuck, you know, I don't know. And then you saw an imbalance created on the way higher. That's the entry. Okay? If you hesitated, next concept right there. And then that also happens to be the mitigation model as well. See that? That's a little bit hidden in there. It is. And we don't really have like equal highs or no shit. But again, if the higher time frame is still bullish and we're going to trade higher, right? We go lower first, and then we anticipate certain things. Inversions, mitigations, I guess regular imbalances. Okay? That's right. So the last stock that I have to talk about today is Microsoft. So although we're not there yet, 464.79, I believe, is all-time highs. Okay. So that's from July 5th of last year. And we got very close to that. We got 464.14 today. See that? See how close that is? So not there yet, but it's close. Again, same idea. Higher time frame imbalance. For some reason, TradingView has been, I don't know if you guys notice this too, but do you guys see how this is off? Like this gap is off. That high is off. And like this is off too. Is that just me? Or are you guys running into that too? It's like all my drawings are off for some reason. Look at this shit. What the fuck is this? Why is that off? That makes no sense to me. Are you guys having that issue too? Or is that just me? Because I swear that's weird. That's strange when you draw stuff and then you come back and it's different. That's a big fucking problem. I guess you guys aren't having, maybe it's just me then. Oh, all right, Mason. Well, at least one of you got back to me. We got 60 people on here talking to myself. But that's about it, chat. I don't have anything else. Okay? I don't have anything else for you. That's all that I got. All right? We'll see if gold trades higher. I'm over it. I've lost my patience with it, and I'm fine. So I'll put out the market review a little bit later. Since it is Tuesday, so all the members here will get a market review today and on Thursday. But I'll go ahead and cut it here. We're coming up on the 1 p.m. macro, but I'm over it today. So y'all be good, be blessed. We'll be here same time, same place tomorrow on Wednesday for another free live stream. If you guys got value, drop a like on the stream. And if you guys want, y'all are welcome to invite your friends. If you got friends that are traders and you look and you see some of their entries and you're like, bro, you need to come hang out. Send them the link to the channel. We go live here. Well, I go live here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 p.m. EST. For free. You don't got to spend hundreds of dollars to be here. Okay? And we're calling out big fucking moves. Okay? Big ass fucking moves. All right? And yeah, well, I get that. I get that. Some people have tried to, come to me for help, and I've tried to help them. And they'll try to learn from other people too and be like, oh, well, this guy got this. And every time I'm like, yeah, but my entry's lower. Or if I'm short, my entry's higher. It's like, you can learn from other people all you want, but I'm running circles around them. Why would you not want to learn better? But hey, ego's a thing, man. Ego's a thing. It's okay. But yeah, y'all be good, man. See you tomorrow.